I wonder if you are aware that there are many undocumented Filipinos in the Philippines. I am not joking. I know that the term undocumented Filipinos is usually referring to fellow Pinoys who are living and working as illegal aliens in foreign countries. Yun bang pabiro nating tinatawag na TNT o tago ng tago. But it was not until I became Bishop of Caloocan that I came to know about undocumented Filipinos in the Philippines. And of all people, it's very embarrassing to note that it was through a group of Korean sisters working in our diocese that I learned about it. The sisters are running a preschool in one of the parishes of the diocese in Navotas. The sisters were so shocked to find out that after preschool, around 20% of the children that they were looking after could not be enrolled in the public elementary schools because they were undocumented. They had no birth certificate or any form of identity to present. Paano yun tatanggapin sa school? Many children in our slum communities or our informal settlers communities are not born in hospitals or in health centers. Some of them are born at home. Nung kabataan ko, that was not big deal because we were born at home. But nowadays, that's life-threatening. So, they are delivered with the assistance of a midwife. The midwife is actually required by Philippine law to have the children registered. But if the family is not even able to pay for the services of the midwife, why would they even bother to have the babies registered? Ang katwiran nila, ako nga hindi binayaran pambabayad ko pa ng birth certificate. And the consequences for the children are terrible. The children grow up like non-entities. They are like non-citizens in their own country. They cannot even avail themselves of public services because wala silang any form of identity. Strictly speaking, because their names are not listed in the NSO, National Statistics Office, they're not even counted in our population. Kaya pag sinabi nilang ang population ng Pilipinas ay 100,000, you will have to add a certain percentage to more or less guess kung ilang undocumented ang not counted in the population. This is what came to my mind while I was reflecting on our first reading today from Ephesians chapter 2, 19 to 22. Sabi ni St. Paul, "You are no longer to be regarded as illegal aliens or non-residents." Wow, why is St. Paul saying that? Well, nung kapanahunan niya, the concept of citizenship was a very, very restrictive thing, especially in the more advanced civilizations like the Roman Empire or Hellenistic Empire during the first century. So, noong arestuhin si St. Paul, yung mga arresting officers were shocked when they found out na Roman citizen pala siya. Kung ang lupit-lupit nila sa kanya nung start, but later on, they started to treat him with deference. They knew that he had legal rights that were protected by the Roman Empire and that he was entitled to due process of law by appealing to his Roman citizenship. You read all of it in the Acts of the Apostles. Yung konsepto ng citizen was limited to a certain privileged elite during those times. It could be obtained either by birth or it could be paid for with a huge amount of money. Only citizens had rights in the empire. The rest were more or less like the gypsies of Europe or the Rohingyas of Myanmar or the untouchables of India or the Burakamins of Japan in earlier times. Well, the gospel for today's feast of the Holy Apostles, Saints Simon and Jude, is the story of Saint Luke, of Jesus choosing 12 among his disciples and calling them apostles, meaning they are sent out on a mission. What is their mission about? Anong mission? Well, it is about reaching out to those regarded as non-citizens, to the disenfranchised, the non-entities in Jewish society, and telling them that they also counted, that in the eyes of God, they were also citizens. Christianity is founded on the belief that every human being is naturally endowed with dignity and has a lofty calling. That God, unlike human societies, does not discriminate. He calls all of us to be His children. He excludes nobody. St. Paul creates a vocabulary for this apostolic mission. It is about reaching out to the non-entities, to those who do not matter in society, to those who live in the margins, yung tinatawag nilang nasa laylayan ng lipunan. Their apostolic advocacy was, as it were, to work for their citizenship. To work for their citizenship. Kaya ang sabi ni St. Paul, ito yung good news niya, you are fellow citizens of the holy ones and members of the household of God. For the apostles, ito yung pinaka-summary ng Ebanghelyo. Ito yung pinaka-summary ng good news of the kingdom of God. Citizenship. While citizenship among earthly kingdoms is valid or recognized only within the boundaries of those kingdoms, kaya nga tayo pag nagbibiyahe, pag di ka citizen sa bansang pupuntahan mo, kailangan humingi ka ng visa. Kasi valid lang yung citizenship mo within the boundaries of your country. But the citizenship offered by Jesus goes beyond the boundaries of nations, beyond the boundaries even of this world. This is a very radical and very revolutionary thought. And a very consoling one too. Very consoling, especially for our family who have just lost a loved one. My brother Dante, who succumbed to COVID last night. My brother was a lawyer by profession, but I think a lawyer also by vocation, not just by profession. He was an advocate of the rights of the disadvantaged in society. We draw comfort from the thought that he has obtained a borderless kind of citizenship. And lahat tayo, we're still working on it. the kind of citizenship that our holy apostles, whom we are celebrating today, Saints Simon and Jude, were advocates of.